It's May 7, 2012. We're in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada at the Justice Building. How are you doing today?
Doing okay, thank you.
And what's your name?
Sally Brooks.
Would you like to do an interview today?
Yes.
And would you like to share your views on police arrest procedures?
Specifically for Fredericton City, I absolutely would, because it seems to be different here to most places.
Have you ever been arrested?
Yes.
And
allegedly.
Allegedly.
I was arrested 3 times, and 2 years later I was told I was never actually arrested.
Really? What was the date of the arrest that was claimed?
6th of February 2010.
Okay, and what was the reason for the arrest?
Well, I think the reason was not actually what it seemed. I had made some calls to mental health because I was a victim of a spousal support fraud perpetrated by lawyers, and it was making me very mentally ill and very suicidal and very ill, and I was seeking help, and I was offered an intake interview with mental health to get counselling. So I called and I said, nobody's contacted me and I need to know when I'm going to be interviewed. I need to see a counsellor. I need to see medical professionals.
So you were looking for help?
Yes. The person who had made the offer wasn't there or wasn't picking up, and a third party was answering the telephone and just said, oh, we take messages for them and they're not here. So I called 2 or 3 times and I got really angry because I was intoxicated too, and then not long after the last call, this was about 11:30 at night, there was the most ferocious hammering and banging and shouting at my front door. Open the door! Open the door! It was terrifying. I'm a single, older woman living alone downtown, and I went and lifted a tiny corner and all I saw was torches shining in and these male voices and this hammering on my front door. Open the door, open the door.
And by torches you mean flashlights?
Sorry, flashlights.
Yes.
We call them torches in Britain.
For us Canadians.
Flashlights. So I started backing away because I thought I was going to be the subject of a violent home invasion to steal or murder me or whatever. And the next thing was the door just blasted open and big dark shapes ran at me, pushed me down and started yelling, you're Sarah, you're going to harm yourself, you're going to slash your wrists, you've taken pills. And I said, I'm not telling you who I am. And of course by then I could see it was police officers.
Yes. And
I just said, let me go, get out of my house. I'm not telling you anything. One arm came free and reached out. I was being held down by my ankles, knees, shoulders, lower arms.
Yes.
One arm came free and flew out and
yes.
brushed a female officer's pant leg, at which she screamed, that's assault. You assaulted a police officer, you're under arrest. So that was my first arrest.
Wow.
They then took my glasses off and pepper sprayed my eyes, face, upper chest, exposed arms, hair. I was covered in pepper spray and I don't remember anything else. I actually passed out, I know now.
Yes.
And then the police officers freaked out, and from what I can piece together from the reports, they called an NCO to cover what they'd done, and then they fabricated that I had grabbed Officer Constable David Banks's testicles. So that was assault number 2. Arrested. I was actually unconscious at the time, and I'm looking forward to getting David Banks on the witness stand, because I will be asking him all about his testicles.
Yes.
And how 4 police officers were standing around me and watching me assault him and grab his testicles, because let's face it, David, there's no credibility whatsoever there.
Yes.
So that was arrest number 2. Oh, by the way, because I'd been pepper sprayed, I was blind and couldn't see.
Yes.
Because pepper spray is actually oil.
Yes.
Oil with pepper in it.
Yes.
They specifically targeted my eyes, they've written it in their reports, and when you're sprayed in your eyes, you can't see for quite some time.
Yes.
So I was also blind while I was groping around for his testicles. Then I was thrown onto a gurney and taken to hospital, and while I was blind with pepper spray and choking, I turned my head and spat the pepper spray out, and the next thing I heard was Constable Dana Roberts screaming, "She spit on me! She spit on me! That's assault ×3! You're under arrest!" And I'm thinking, I'm blind, I'm spitting pepper spray out of my mouth, and I've just been arrested again.
Yes.
Well, it turns out when a police officer breaks into your house under the Mental Health Act, they have no powers of arrest at all. They can only arrest you under the criminal code if you have committed a crime, if they catch you committing a crime, or if they know you're planning a crime.
Yes.
So they had no grounds of arrest whatsoever. They assaulted me, which they've actually admitted in their own reports, and I'm really looking forward to finding out why I'm facing 2 charges.
Wow. So did they even have the authority to break into your house in the first place?
No.
So they had no authority to break into your house, which they did. They had no authority to arrest you, which they did. And then they went forward, assaulted you, pepper sprayed you, and then used every little body language symbol that they could to claim you actually assaulted them.
Yeah. And I would like to qualify under the Mental Health Act. The police cannot force entry as an emergency unless they see you're in imminent danger.
Yes.
In their own reports, they actually lied and said they could see me wandering around chatting on the telephone. So I was not in imminent danger. Therefore, the only other way they could force entry to my house under the Mental Health Act is if they had a sworn witness testimony
Yes.
or statement,
Yes.
which they did not have, or a 911 call, which they did not have,
Yes.
or a court order signed by a judge, which they did not have.
So they had no lawful or legal grounds whatsoever to do what they did, and it seems like they wanted to charge you as a defensive maneuver.
Yes, and one of the reasons I think they did that was because the police had been copied complaints I made about the ex-Deputy Mayor Nora Davidson-Wright, who was my lawyer, who caused me to lose a huge amount of spousal support by submitting, shall we say, incorrectly done calculations that have cheated me now of about $50,000 of spousal support. And I think the Fredericton Police Force have obvious loyalties to the mayoral office.
Yes.
And I think they had a hidden agenda, breaking into my house to harass me that night and intimidate me.
That's really unfortunate, and it's a terrible story that you've just recounted for us. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
And more people should know these stories of people's real experiences with the Fredericton Police when they act inappropriately, and there is a remedy when the police act inappropriately. We can file a lawsuit, and people don't realize that they have charter protected rights to not be interfered with by the police. Section 7 and Section 15.1 are very strong protections against government misconduct, and specifically the Fredericton Police Force have to abide by the charter. They are agents that are supposed to uphold the charter, and they seem to fail to.
Completely and totally, and I would urge anybody, as soon as the police do something like that, you file a complaint to the Chief of Police, the New Brunswick Police Commission, and the City of Fredericton, and the Department of Public Safety Minister Robert Trevors. They are all responsible for the conduct of the city police.
Yes. So, and also if someone does have one of these encounters, to actually write down as soon as possible every detail they can think of the experience, because quite quickly you might lose the memory. So the sooner the better. As soon as it happens, write down your details as soon as you can think of them, so that you can use it later to your benefit, because you can bet that the Fredericton Police Force, will be writing their notes furiously to use whatever they can think of against us at some future date. And it shouldn't be us against them. It should be the police serving and protecting the public.
Absolutely.
But it seems like they're more interested in serving and protecting the corporation Fredericton and keeping their own butts from getting reprimanded for misconduct.
Absolutely.
It's unfortunate, but that is the case.
And they've got away with it for way too long.
And if more people like you, Sally, and myself, and others stand up and take them to task on their inappropriate actions, then maybe they'll think twice next time before acting this way.
Yes.
And we can make a positive change, one voice at a time.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your sharing your experience with us.
My pleasure.
Have a great day, Sally.
And you.
This is Justice Done Dirt Cheap, May 7, 2012 in Fredericton, New Brunswick.